Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 16 of Crafting for Pleasure. So I am making this video right after I made last week's video because I really wanted to make sure that I had it ready for you for this weekend. So hubby's still out cutting the grass. Apologize if that winds up being an annoying background noise. I'm hoping my phone will cut it out. But I figured since everything was set up, I really should just keep going so that I wouldn't miss a week. So anyways, I was looking at this this book. It is A Treasury of Handmade Gifts by Kate Yates. And this was published in 1993, 2003, 2013, 2023, 32 years ago. But you know what? In 1993, I wasn't a little kid. And in 1993, I remember doing these types of crafts. So, this is a good one. I'm looking at some of them thinking, why did we do that? But this one, especially now with everybody doing all of the sewing and stitching, and this makes a really good slow stitch carry basket. So I looked all over my house. I used to have a million baskets. Took them all to Goodwill or Salvation Army, whatever. I couldn't find one. But I can go back to the Salvation Army and find one. Or even the Dollar Tree. But this is basically, you turn a basket into a bag. And so it works perfectly to carry all of your stuff in. Really keep it contained. They're cute. And so we're going to make one of these today. Not quite like that because I don't have a basket, but you can make it with anything that's kind of tapered, is going to make it hold a little bit better, and maybe possibly has a little bit of a rim at the top. So anything you would have like that, you can make this out of. And I also thought, being that we're all doing the slow stitching, if you had a nice big piece of slow stitch that you didn't know what to do with, you could sew it into a circle and then hem up the bottom, gather the top, and you could use that actually for the top of your bag. And you can use these not only for, like bags for your slow stitching. You could, if you got like a rectangle box, you could use it as a purse. I think a big circle would be a little bit awkward to carry around as a purse, but maybe not. And actually the one I'm going to show you today might be kind of cute for like a little girl's purse, because we're going to use one of our t-shirts, and I'm going to use this bowl because it was the only thing I could find that was a little bit tapered and had a bit of a ridge at the top. And and we're going to use the sleeve off of this t-shirt. And so it's just going to be a little bag, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be a big bag. I'm going to kind of line this all up. And see, how far can I go? About 14 and a half. I do kind of want it to be straight. So I think I'm going to cut it right there. There we go. And I do have my hot glue gun on because we are going to use that. But this is going to be really simple. Now, like I said, if you want to use your, you have a nice big piece of slow stitch, just put it into a circle and sew it together. Now, because of the way that t-shirt was shaped, this is kind of extra. I'm gonna take that off. And then I've just got a needle with a double thread. I put a knot at the bottom of the two threads together, and I'm going to turn it inside out. No, am I or am I not? Yes, I'm going to turn it inside out. And then I am just going to do about 1/4 of an inch up. I am going to just do a straight stitch, just a running stitch. And at the end, we are going to gather this together. And that's why you can do this with your t-shirt material. You can do it with cotton. You can do it with anything. You can actually do it with something that, you know, you've pieced together, crazy patchwork, anything that you have a strip of material, you can turn into a ring like this. I just did this because it was easier. I didn't have to sew that way and then sew this way. And it would make my video pretty quick. So we're just going to go all the way around. And then I do have my hot glue gun plugged in so that we're going to gather this together to hold on that rim. But just to have that little bit of extra security, just throw some hot glue on there. I thought that would be a better way to go. So we're going to do both. We're going to have it sewn in and gathered together, and then we are going to have it glued. Now, if you're using a basket, with the basket, you could sew this through some of the reeds of the basket, and that would make it nice and sturdy too. But being that we've just got this plastic bowl, I mean, I guess I could punch some holes in it, but it's just as easy to hot glue it. But in a running stitch is such an easy stitch to do that it doesn't take, we're almost back to the beginning. It doesn't take long at all. This is a super quick project, and it's a fun project. And you even could have, you know, some young people could even help you and make some for themselves. So we're just going to, now that bowl is clear, so we're going to want to do a little something with that. Because whatever you keep in there, you're not going to want it to be, it's going to be seen, but you don't want it to be quite as noticeable. So we're going to color it a bit. Just going to finish this up. Okay, now I'm going to take my knot and I'm going to pull on that a little bit so that I've got my knot thread and my needle thread that I can tie together when we go to put it on the bowl. So we've got two pieces there. I'm just going to hold on to those and we can loosen this back up a little bit. And then we're just going to set that aside for right this second. And I'm going to show you an easy way to color this. Now, this is non-porous, so you can color this with alcohol ink really easy. The question is, do you have alcohol ink? So we're going to, let's see, do I have any pink? Pink. We'll do some pink and some red. No, not red. Pink, and this is going to be our handle from last week's show when we did the twisted braid. So maybe we'll do like a light blue. Yeah, we'll do pink and light blue. So if you don't have alcohol inks, these are alcohol markers. Permanent markers are alcohol markers. These are Sharpies, but they don't have to be Sharpies. They can be any permanent, even permanent markers from the dollar store. And we're just going to get some color on this bowl. Get some down here on the bottom. I should have done the pink first. Usually I like to do the light color first, because then it doesn't contaminate, the darker color doesn't contaminate the nib of the light color one. But I didn't do that, and I'm not sure exactly how much pink we're going to put on here because of the fact that this is such a small marker. I thought I had big ones like that. And it's not really showing up much. Let me see, do I have a piece of white paper here? Here's some white foam. So you can see that there's pink there, but it's not going to show up much. And once we start putting the alcohol ink, making it into alcohol ink, it's not going to show up much at all. Let's see. Maybe we'll do turquoise and purple. Yeah, we'll do turquoise and purple. And the purple may lighten up more. kind of be a little pinky. And so we're gonna pretty much get color on the whole thing. You don't want a bunch of clear area, but it doesn't have to be perfect by all means. If you have a little bit here or there, a little bit here or there will fill in. Okay, I think we pretty much got it. Pretty good. Alrighty, and then we're just gonna I'll put a little bit more blue on the bottom here. We're gonna take alcohol ink, we're gonna take rubbing alcohol and turn our alcohol markers into alcohol ink. A piece of felt and some rubbing alcohol. This is 91%. The higher the percentage, the better it works. So 91% works really well. The 70s don't work as well, but they do still work. And what you're going to do is you're going to put some alcohol ink on your pad, on your felt, and then you are just going to take it. Let me see. Let's put this back in here again so that you can kind of see what happens here. See, and as you touch it, it starts kind of gives it this mottled look. So it's not just like colored on, but you can also just color on it. You could color patterns. You could put grass on the bottom and flowers up the side. So, you know, you can do it however you want to, or you can leave it clear. I actually saw a glass bag the other day. I thought that was a little weird because I would not do well with that. I don't want people to see what's in my purse. It's always a mess. I got everything in there but the kitchen sink, so. But yeah, it was different. So you could leave this clear if you wanted. I mean, especially this is going to be for like a little girl or something, so, you know. There's not going to be anything in there probably that makes any difference if it's seen. So if you have a spot, oops. No, I just slipped right there and just kind of really rubbed it off a bit. So let's just get a little bit more on there. And a little bit more there too. And where you first start, you may need to go over it a little bit because your alcohol is so strong and it's all like, what do I want to say, straight alcohol in there. By this point, now I've got alcohol and color on my pad, so it does make a difference. And so there we go. And then you can just take a piece of paper or something and kind of look at that and say, does that look the way I want it to look? And that looks pretty good, I think. So that's going to be what the base of our bowl looks like, or our purse. And so then we've got our sides. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut with a pair of scissors. The sharper the better. You want a pair of scissors kind of that has a point on it. But we're going to cut just a line here. I'm separating the two sides because I don't really want to cut all the way through it. You could, it wouldn't really hurt anything. So I'm going to put a nip right here by the seam from the actual t-shirt. And then just widen it up a little bit like that. And I'm going to put one over here. And just put a little nip. And so we're going to put our cording right through the hem of the sleeve. So we don't have to do that either. If you were doing it with a piece of fabric, you'd have to fold it over and make yourself a, yeah, that. All right, so now if this was on here like this, I'm going to put it like this, just to make sure I have it the right way. All right, so I want that to go like that so that I can fold it back up. And I have not let the color on the alcohol ink dry, so that might get a little bit on our sleeve, but that's okay. I'm going to pull this tight. Whoops, I let go of the other side. I've got each side of our yarn. We're going to put it right up in there, pull it tight, and tie a knot. And it doesn't matter exactly if you have it gathered where you want it yet, because it's not glued, it's not locked into where it's at. So you can move your gathers around before you put some glue on it. Hold your knot nice and tight. And I'm just making a mess of this. There. And one more just for good measure. Maybe. And I still can't find the needle that I lost from last week's video. Goodness knows, I'll find it on the floor one of these days in my foot. Okay, so put this back in my pin cushion. All right, so now we're going to just kind of adjust this so that our gathers are kind of spread around. They don't have to be perfectly even or anything, but you just want a little bit of gather everywhere. There, just like that. And then I'm going to just take some hot glue and put it around here like this. Maybe use my scissors. Just gonna kind of press that together. Just make sure that it kind of touches our fabric. Get some more. Oh, I do have another one here. There we go. I just kind of want that to grab the fabric and hold it up there into that ridge is what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to wrap this around here, and then we can push it more. Just gonna go like that. So there's the bottom of our purse. Now this sleeve is pretty short, so it makes our purse not really long, but that's okay. And now the problem is going to be, not sure that I have a pin. Let me see if I have a pin here. Ah, there's a pin. Okay, so we're going to take a pin, get the hot glue off of there. We're going to put the pin through our cording. That will give us something to hold on to, or kind of like to push and to pull. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in that slit. Get the whole cording into that hole. I could have used that pin to grab those tails a little bit better. Okay, so now we're gonna, you grab the pin, you push your fabric back onto that pin and kind of hold on to it like this, and then you pull. And then you push, the pin is right here, so I'm gonna take this and I'm pushing the pin from the back end. I'm pushing it and pushing it and letting this gather up like that. So here's the front of the pin right here, the back of the pin is here, and I'm going to pull this like that. Push the pin. Push it from the back end and kind of guide the fold of fabric over top of the pin until you can't get any more on the pin, and then pull the fabric. Because we've got that big knot there, we got to kind of, it's not moving as easy. Sometimes it just like follows the pin. You almost don't have to like, but we're having to really pull it over that knot. No big deal, because the knot's going to come out the other end. So it's not like it's staying in there. We'll just do this till we get all the way to the other end. And then we'll be able to get it all gathered up. And so this is just another way that you can use the t-shirt cording. You can use this, the twisted cord or braided cord or whatever it is, or you can just use the t-shirt cording all on its own. I have my, I'll show you my sample one too. Wanted to see how it worked. And but with the sample one, I just used the regular t-shirt cording, and then I decided, oh, I wanted to try that braided one. And I really do like the way that you can use that for so many things. You can use it to close a journal. You can use it for ties, you know, like at the top of a shawl or something. They're really cute. Anything where you would need a tie, they would work for so many different things. Okay, so I've got the pin out here, but I really need to work this gather back. There we go. And now I'm going to just, there we go, like that. Because I kind of want them to be like the same length like this, I'm working the gather around so that the gather's not all over here, or otherwise when you went to open this up, it would just pull on one side and not the other. So look at how cute those look there. They're not really going to accidentally go back through. They could, but because of the knot and the size of the bulk of it, you know, for them to suck back up into there would be kind of hard. If you're afraid they were going to, you could tie them together or put a bigger bead on them. You could untie it, put a bead on and tie it back up again. That would be a little bit hard. But so there's what the purse looks like when it's opened up. And then you could just put some stuff in there. Just grab some stuff out of my catch-all case here. You can put all that stuff in there and then just pull there. And there we go. There's the little purse. There's all the stuff inside, which, see, you don't see it very well because of the color. But yeah, and I tried on the last one, I did do the cording out both sides. I like the way that it works like this better. But you can, if you want to, right at the opposite side, put a nip right here and pull that cording out this way so you have it on both sides. But it doesn't really pull the way you would think of a pull bag, like where you can pull both sides and it shuts it up. You could hold both sides and then like you could cinch this side and then cinch this side. But a pull bag has to start here, go all the way around and come out, and then that would pull out, and then you'd have another one that would start over here, go all the way around and come out. And that's where you get the kind where you can cinch it both. So even if you took this one and put a hole over here where it would come out the other side, it would look like two handles or have two handles, but it wouldn't pull, it wouldn't cinch from both sides, if that makes any sense. But I think that this turned out really cute. I really like that. And I like the way that it opens and shuts very nicely. And if it gets a little bit off, you might want to give that one a pull. Kind of even them up a bit. And here is my sample one. So with the sample one, I did put a hole in the back side afterwards, because I wanted it so that I had one on both sides so I could pull it and it would cinch up. But see, that doesn't work, because this is not the way that you do that type of you have to have two separate strings, one that goes this way and one that goes this way, in order to have that work. So, but it still does have two handles, and you still can grab both handles and cinch it up like that, or cinch up each side, or if you want to, just pull it like that one and just do it with one side. But you could do the double cinch on it if you have enough room in your, if you make enough room, if you're sewing your own, make a little bit of a wider channel here, and that way you can, the way that we put this one in all the way around, then start at the other side and put one all the way around, and then when you pull them, this is the one that went all the way around that way, so when you pull it, it's going to pull that one, and this one went all the way around that way, so when you pull it, it will pull from here and they'll pull together. Right now this is the same string. It just went, I put it in there, it went all the way around, and then I cut another hole and pulled it out there. And so this is the same string. When you pull on it, you're just pulling it on opposite ends of the same string. So, but if you want to know how to do that, you can look up cinch bag too, and it'll tell you how to do that with the double strings to make a cinch bag. But there they are. I think that they look really cute. And, but like I said, these are cute, you know, just to carry. They could even work like to carry, you know, they have these type of bowls, like rectangular shaped. Like if you were going just like to the beach or something, if your phone would fit in there, you could go ahead and you could put your phone in there and put all your other stuff in there and then cinch it up. And, you know, if you tie this together at the end, you could use it so that you could just like carry it over your hand and all of your stuff is in one little spot. So, and you could even very possibly, if you had the lid, I don't have a lid for this in here, but you should be able to put the lid in there. Now that would be a little bit tough, but because of the way that we did it, there's the top. Just put the lid on there and then put this over the top, and that would hold all of that in there. And you could even do that where stuff would hold in the bowl and stuff would sit on the top, and you'd have two compartments in there. So thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this project. Another short week, but another being able to actually get a week here, so that makes me happy. Thanks again for stopping by. Watch a commercial now and then when you get a chance on some of your favorite channels. It does help people. Leave comments, leave a thumbs up, and every so often just check and see if you've missed a video. So thanks again. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.